everyone. In this video, we'll see about functions in Kotlin with the examples. Let's get started. In this video, we'll see about what are the functions, its different types, the default and named parameter, and finally the inline functions. What are functions? If we want to perform specific task, we can go for function. We can reuse that block of code whenever it is required. So it helps us to organize and maintain the code clean and efficient. Now let us see how to write a simple function. Here I'm going to use a function which is greet. The function name is greet and inside which I'm going to print hello Kotlin learners. The different types of function which we will see in this video are standard or basic function, a single expression function, anonymous or lambda functions, and a higher order function. Now let us see an example for the standard or basic function, which includes a complete program along with the class and main function. Here I'm going to create a class and give the name as Kotlin function, inside which I'm going to include a function and give name as add numbers. This function will accept two parameters, both of integer type, and it will add the values and return the result, which is again of integer type. So now inside the main function, I'm going to call this add numbers function and pass values as 5 and 4. Once it is called, the add numbers function gets executed and print the output. So to call the main function, we need to create object or we can call using the constructor. So here using the constructor, I call the main function, which in turn will call the add numbers function, add both the numbers and print the result as 9. Now coming to the single expression function. Here I'm going to include another function inside the same program. The function name is multiply, which will accept two parameters x and y, which is of integer type, and return the product of two numbers. So here we write the function a single statement. So we call that a single expression. The value following the equal sign will be automatically written for the place from which it is actually called. Now coming to the lambda function. Lambda is an unnamed or anonymous function that we can store it in a variable or pass as a parameter. Now let's see an example. Here greet is a variable which holds the lambda function. The statement following the calibrations is the lambda function. Here name is a input parameter which is of string type. When this function is called, it will return the following string, that is hello followed by the name. That is the dollar sign which is followed by name is a placeholder for value passed to the function. So when I call the greet function and pass the value as user, it will display hello user. Now let's see an example for the higher order function. Now inside the Kotlin function class, I'm going to include a function calculate, which accepts two parameters a and b, which is of integer type, and third parameter is a function. So this is referred as the higher order function, which accepts function as the parameter. This operation function accepts two parameters and returns an integer result. So here inside this calculate function, it returns the output of operation function. So now inside the main, when I call the calculate function and pass value as 4 and 6, it will add 4 and 6 and gives the output as 10, which is stored in the result. So when I try to print, it gives the output as 10. Since it accepts function of the parameter, here we refer this as the higher order function. Now coming to the default and named parameters. Here inside the Kotlin function class, I'm going to include a function, which is greet user. This function accepts a parameter name, which is of string type. So here I'm going to give the default value as user. So this will print hello following the name passed into the function or else the default value. So now inside the main function, when I call the greet user without passing any value, it will print hello user. So now when I call the same function by passing some values, that is Geeta here, so it will print hello Geeta. Now coming to the inline function. The keyword inline tells the compiler to inline the function, which means instead of calling the function at runtime, it replaces the function call with the actual code inside the function during the compilation. Now coming to the example. Here we use the inline keyword and the function name is execute. It accepts a parameter which is the task, which is of type unit, which means it does not accept any parameters and will not return any value, similar to void in Java, and inside which we will call the task function. So now inside the main function, when I call the execute function, the lambda function, that is the statement following the calibraces, gets passed as the task parameter. Now inside the execute function, we invoke the task function. This line executes this lambda and prints the result as task executed. I hope you like this video. For more tutorials on Kotlin, subscribe to my channel Programming for my GS. Thank you.